Good evening. Welcome to the governing board meeting of the Fallbrook Union Elementary School District. It is 5:34 and I call our meeting to order. Our first item on the agenda is a hearing session for our board clerk, Mrs. Lopez. Do we have any items related to the closed session?
We do not.
Okay. With that, then I'm going to adjourn us into the closed session. And we will return shortly. Thank you. We are back from closed session. So this is 6:04 p.m. and we are now in the regular portion of our meeting, open session. There was no action taken during our closed session. With that, we are now going into the flag salute. Mrs. Lieber, would you lead us in flag salute?
Please stand. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Our first action item is approving the minutes of our June 21st regular meeting. Do I have a motion to approve? Thank you. Do I have a second? A second. Thank you. Any comments, changes? I know, Mrs. Lieber, you found one correction and that was made in the current version of the minutes. Thank you. With that, shall we have a vote? Mrs. Lieber?
Aye.
Mrs. Lopez?
Aye.
Mrs. Liebes? Aye. And I vote aye as well. Moving to our second action item, the minutes of the June 22nd special meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Lopez. Do I have a second? Thank you. Any comments, changes? Mrs. Lopez, would you lead the vote?
Aye.
And Mrs. Lieber?
Aye.
And Mrs. Liebes? Aye. I vote aye as well. Mrs. Lopez, we are moving into the hearing portion of today's meeting. Do we have any comments?
We do not.
Thank you. Reports from the board. Mrs. Liebes, would you like to start?
Sure. So as I was just talking to Dr. Singh about, my son is attending super summer camp and it's just wonderful. I was a little worried about motivating him in the mornings during the summer. And in fact, when I registered him, I turned in the form myself because I was afraid it would actually make it. But I have been pleasantly surprised. He's been excited. He's been up and dressed every morning, ready to go. He's loving it. In fact, one of my older son's friends was kind of teasing him about having to go to summer school. And he said, "Oh no, it's really fun. It's like having an elective all day."
It's lovely.
So, and it was
a compliment.
yeah, it was brilliant. Whoever's idea it was to let the teachers choose their theme and to let the students choose their teachers and theme. That's made all the difference because he has his favorite teacher and he's doing his favorite subject all summer instead of laying in bed. He's with Mr. Floto and they are on a mission to Mars. Fantastic. Awesome. So I'm really grateful for all the teachers and staff that were willing to work during the summer and make it happen. And then I was able to attend a ribbon cutting at Boys and Girls Club last week or the week before, celebrating their 60th anniversary, which was really neat to learn more about the history of their organization. And they pointed out summer is usually kind of their downtime, but because we're offering super summer camp at all of our schools, they've had to step up and do actually more than they do during the school year because they usually only go from 3 to 6 and now they're going from noon to 6. So they stepped up and made it happen, and we're so grateful for everything they do for our students. And that's my report. Wonderful. Thank you. Mrs. Lopez.
I was able to attend the Migrant World's Fair at STEM Academy, which was just fabulous. The work that the students did and all the projects that we were able to see and listening to the kids and how they presented what they learned. It was just such a great morning. And I totally appreciate Dr. Curcio for picking the World's Fair theme because it really allowed the kids to go in so many different directions. And so it's, the way they weren't tied to just one thing, and it just really showed in the presentations that they made. So it was a great day. I really enjoyed it. All that's been happening.
Yeah, and I would like to thank Dr. Curcio as well. It was a great theme. I also attended. And what they did, which was so beautiful is they had the students actually reenact a wax figure. And you went over and you hit a paper button and they started talking. And some of the women, the girls had their hair up in curls because that's who they were depicting. Some of the men had come in full suits. They really put an effort into living out that person's life. And I hadn't actually never seen anything like that before. I was super impressed. So kudos to everybody, all the teachers, the acting principal, everybody did a super job. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you. Well, I share everybody's appreciation for and amazement of our migrant summer camp. And Dr. Curcio and her team in planning this, the teachers who've already gone through a very exhausting year have signed up for 3 intense weeks. I just am so admiring of the dedication of our teachers.
They were enthusiastic.
Were-
We're like, where do you get this energy? You know, they were super happy to be there.
They were, and talking with one of the teachers, he said that they were reading a book together and it was a pretty intense book and it really brought a lot of emotions from the students. And I just think that what we sometimes do for our kids is so amazing because we don't just teach. We really help these kids grow as leaders and so it was a great experience and I'm so appreciative of having been invited to be there. Terrific. And I look forward to seeing Super Summer Camp. I'm going to try and drop in before it's over because I'm afraid I'm going to miss it. Oh, yay. Okay. I've already been invited. That's great. Thank you.
Isn't that a lovely invitation?
What perfect timing.
Dr. Fusing, you want to talk about that?
Oh, sure. It is truly a pleasure to get to see the excitement kids have, and our students are just on fire for learning with Super Summer Camp, and we will share a little bit in the presentation later, but my favorite explanation of Super Summer Camp comes from a student who speaks Spanish as well, and she says to her teacher, well, teacher, in Spanish, no sabía que iba a ser tan bueno, me gusta mucho. I love it so much. I didn't know it was going to be so great. And the teacher said, pues claro, porque es super summer camp. And the little girl said, super summer camp? Mamá no me dijo que era super. So it's not soup for summer camp anymore. It's super summer camp. So I just love that. Ms. Perez and I have been talking about, well, you know, it's always the mom. Like the mom didn't tell me it was going to be so great. Anyways, it's
always the
really
mom,
great.
right?
It's so great. Pero pues mi mamá no me dijo. So now I'm telling you, it's really great. Like we can't wait to share it with you.
It's terrific. Thank you. Look forward to it.
Welcome.
Dr. Singh, I think
Yes.
we are ready
Well,
for your
thank you.
report.
You bet. Thanks, everybody. It's just thank you, Mrs. Perez. Isn't it fun to sit and listen? We get to have our presentation in just a minute and get to hear a little bit more about it. I want to welcome Dr. Fusing's first official board meeting. Welcome, welcome. It's nice to have you here. We have just the other thing I would share with you is, as you know, we have lots of work going on around the district, lots of maintenance and cleaning and all kinds of things. And so we're always so appreciative of our custodial staff and our maintenance and operations department. They do a lot of work. I had a meeting this morning. Mrs. Martin and I met with Mr. Bickler, our Director of Facilities and Operations, on another topic. And I said, so have you had any opportunity at all to take a couple of days off? He said, absolutely not. I have not. So I said, I'm going to take a couple of days off later this week. But it just is, it just speaks to our classified support staff and all the departments, as you know, the work that goes on behind the scenes to make sure that our schools will be ready for people to come back while they're working around 1,000 kids at summer school. So it's just been a beautifully coordinated effort, and just want to publicly acknowledge the work they're doing. But lots of things happening. It feels like it never stopped. We're just wearing sandals.
Yeah.
It's just right. We're just wearing sandals to work. But other than that, it feels exactly the same. So anyway, so thank you for that. Thank you. You bet.
You're welcome. We have the review of board bylaw 9270, which is conflict of interest, but that is not an action item. That is an information item, as far as I know. Is that correct?
That's
Yes.
correct.
But we do have an action item for a resolution adopting a conflict of interest code. It's resolution number 1-22/23. Do I have a motion to approve that resolution?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Do I have a second? A second. All righty, let's have a vote. Mrs. Lieber,
Aye.
Mrs. Lopez,
Aye.
Mrs. Libis. Aye. And I vote aye as well. Thank you. Human Resources, certificated substitute rate increase. Do I have a motion to approve?
I motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there discussion, questions, comments?
Thank you for continuing to look out there and make sure we're competitive. It's really so important, and thank you. I just think it's wonderful.
Continuing to do the research about it too.
Thank
You know,
Sue.
there's Mr. Morse, will you just talk about the HR group and how you all communicate with each other and keep track of what each other are paying their substitutes?
It's a county HR advisory committee, and it's I think 24 of us countywide, and we all share ideas together about what we pay our substitutes. And somebody can throw out an idea, a question to the group, and you don't get 23 responses. We get a lot of responses. How much you paying after 10 days or after 15 days? And so actually the human resources team gets the credit. They researched what the surrounding districts were paying, Vista, Bonsall, Oceanside, San Marcos, Valley Center. And based on what they're paying, I believe we're at the top now. We're tied at the top.
I appreciated having that information so we
Yeah.
could actually get a good look at what the surrounding districts were doing. That was very nice.
So we are very competitive now, if not at the, I believe we're the highest in North County now. Don't let that out.
Yeah.
Don't raise the rates.
It matters.
It does matter.
It does matter. People pay attention to that.
That's right.
when they-
Especially our location.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
We want people to drive here.
Extra $6 a
That's right.
gallon that they're
That's
just saving
exactly
this year
That's exactly
makes
right.
up for the extra-
$6 they're paying for gas to
Yeah,
put gas
that's
in
what I
their
mean.
car.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you.
I wanted to say, I am fully supportive of this. I think it's great that we can pay our subs well, better than anywhere else. And I'm very proud that we're going to be able to do a lot of professional development. I am concerned about the amount of time out of the classroom for teachers.
Of course.
Because I've seen as a parent and a
Yes.
volunteer what happens even when we have great subs, it's
Yes.
not the same.
It is.
So I really appreciated last year how we were able to do some of that PD time outside of classroom hours.
Yes.
And if we can still do that, I think, if the teachers are willing to spend some of their
Yes.
afternoon and weekend time,
Yes.
it'd be in the best interest of our students.
For sure. Couldn't agree with you more. I think the outside of the class time is always the best. And I think a teacher would tell you that.
Well,
Because,
especially at
right-
the pay you're giving them.
Right, the pay they're making, but also because they plan for a substitute,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, so it's a lot of work for them too. So I think the thing in this particular circumstance, we went from doing a lot of our work during the day and had plenty of subs for the most part, not always plenty, but mostly, to not really having any subs and needing to do it all outside. So what we want to try to do is find a bit of a balance, right? Because if we do it outside the school day, it has to be voluntary. So there are some things that are really critical that we need to know that every teacher has the same training.
Mhm.
So we're just thoughtful about what we keep during the day because we don't want folks out of the classroom either. So I really appreciate what you're saying, Mrs. Libis. And no one wants the teachers out of the room, especially given all the reasons why our folks have had to be out of their classrooms, during the pandemic. We want to minimize that as much as possible. So we'll be very judicious in the way that we decide what gets done during the day, because those things then become a mandatory, right? When we can make sure that everybody has the same training and things we think are really important. But thank you for those comments. We really appreciate it.
So this is sort of a silly idea, but if someone's gonna stay after school for the PD or come on the weekends, do we ever do things like food?
Yes, all the time.
Okay, good. Cause
All
that
the
can be
time.
such an incentive.
It is.
Cause you're done with school, you're hungry, yeah,
Of course.
weekends, okay, good.
Everyone loves food at things. So yes,
Yeah.
we do.
Yeah.
We certainly do.
Makes it a little bit more
You
of a
bet.
fun thing.
A little bit more tolerable, right?
Let's take a vote on that item. Mrs. Lieber,
Aye.
Mrs. Lopez,
Aye.
Mrs. Libis. Aye. And I vote aye as well. Our next action item is the library media services technician job description. Do I have a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
Thank you. Do I have a second? A second. Any questions or comments regarding this
Is
item?
this just one of these routine?
Thank you.
I meant to ask you in an email, but I ran out. of
No
time.
problem.
This is
Yes,
one
you
of-
know, through the reclassification
Yes,
committee,
yes.
updating the job description.
Brilliant idea, and it
You bet.
really looks very technologically oriented, probably before.
Yes. Really had to bring it up kind of to the where we are now.
Yeah.
You bet.
Anyone else? We can do our vote. Mrs. Lopez,
Aye.
Mrs. Lieber,
I,
Mrs. Libis. Aye. And I vote aye as well. Next item is, well, there are two items. They are both for members of our cabinet. The first is for the Assistant Superintendent of Business Services, Mrs. Martin. Do I have a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
Okay,
I'll make a second.
We all want to say it at the
I know.
same time.
Of course, we're so proud to recommend to you to extend the contract of Mrs. Martin.
We really appreciate everything you do. You are just, it's really true of our entire cabinet. You are the linchpins
Mhm.
that make it all work. And it's not enough to have a terrific superintendent. She has to be able to have people who will implement. And I just think, I know you're going to be the same terrific part of this team, but we've seen Mr. Morris and Mrs. Martin, and I feel like we've kind of won the lottery in our district. So lovely to sing. So did I ask for? Yes, I did. So now we can have our vote. Mrs. Lieber.
Aye.
And Mrs. Lopez.
Aye.
Mrs. Libis. Aye. And I vote aye as well. And the second contract is for Mr. Morris. Aw,
So
thank you.
lovely.
The second contract is for Mr. Morris. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion. on
Mrs.
it.
Libis beat her to it. Mrs. Libis beat her to it.
And do I have a second?
Second,
Okay, comment.
great job.
Anything.
I mean, this
Congratulations.
is not quite a
Mhm.
full year, is it?
Oh, July 1.
Yeah, July
July
1.
1.
Not a full year.
Yeah.
Boy, you're just barely.
Welcome to the
Yes.
drinking from a fire hose.
What a year
We're
it's
so,
been.
we're so fortunate,
you.
Mr. Morris. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Let's have a vote. Aye. Mrs. Lopez. Aye. Mrs. Lieber.
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Motion carries. Okay, let's see what our next item is. Presentation. Oh, this is a wonderful thing. By the way, I would like to thank the superintendent for getting us this plan on Wednesday. Much appreciated.
Mhm.
And I also appreciate having the opportunity to get a paper version of the plan. So thank you.
You are welcome.
So
They were,
it
they
was
had,
great.
the team had the plan ready, so
Yeah,
that worked out beautifully.
It was nice to have the time.
Mrs. Perez has been working on it throughout the summer, so we were so pleased to have it to you in advance. So Dr. Husing and Mrs. Perez, it's lovely to see you. Both, I think, could be your very first official presentation, so we're so happy you're here. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Great. Big shoes to fill, but I'm just pleased to be here with you this evening. Thank you, President Lundin, and of course, Dr. Singh and my cabinet members and the board. It's our pleasure this evening, Ms. Perez and I, to co-present an opportunity to just take a peek of the plan. So you have the plan that was delivered to you, and tonight we're going to walk you through. So the presentation will go step by step. And it's really a nice opportunity to highlight not only Super Summer Camp, but what you will even be getting a sneak peek about what's coming the rest of the year. So that fills in those additional days beyond the calendar year and what it will look like, the extension opportunities, the remediation opportunities, and the engagement pieces, along with our big partners in the Boys and Girls Club. So we are going to start right off with them. Agenda to understand the mission and purpose. We'll go through all of the components. And then we'll talk a little bit about the program management. And again, like I mentioned, a little bit of next steps. And at the end, if you have any questions, we will be happy to answer them. I will say that this is the beginning plan. And this plan is meant to develop and grow. We will always be checking back to see what are the student interests, what the planning committee has to suggest new. We'll be looking at the budget and that constant review of our plan to make sure it's really meeting the students' needs. So although it is a plan, it's a living action plan and it can be adjusted. And so we're starting off with our why and our who. So the why is really, we want to make sure that we have a safe place with positive environment that nurtures for success for our students, right? So they're in our schools, and something new is there's an opportunity after school at every single school, which is new this year. And the ELO allows us to do that, which I know Ms. Perez is really excited about, knowing that the schools on base will now have after school opportunities for their students. So, and then who are our students? So the state really wants to encourage all districts in California to first prioritize unduplicated students. And we know our unduplicated students are English learners, students who qualify for free and reduced lunch, homeless, foster youth, students who we want to make sure have engagement opportunities. In a district like Fallbrook, we are actually 75% unduplicated. What that does for us is it enables our district to offer these programs to every student. So we are super fortunate to be able to have this common opportunity for all of our students. And we know that will raise the opportunities for all of our students. So those are the bold information at the bottom. I just will caution that every year our unduplicated number may change, and also the state requirements may change. So we know this to be this whole year that all of our students will be welcome to participate. And so with that, I'm going to hand it over to Ms. Perez, and you have the plan with you, and then we'll be walking you through.
Spots with you. Good evening, everyone. I am beyond excited to be here. What an awesome and amazing opportunity. So thank you, Dr. Husing, for your leadership and for working as a team with me. So we're going to start with section 1, safe and supportive environments. And like all FUESD programs, safety is always our #1 priority. So this program is no different. And the way we will achieve that goal is by aligning our behavioral and academic program-wide expectations. So really using our PBIS strategies, our Leader in Me. There's actually a new Leader in Me after school component that we'll be piloting at a couple schools. So I'm excited about that. And then lastly, something that's very exciting as our social workers will be working the afternoon or swing shift, working our afternoon and really helping with restorative practices, social emotional learning. And those pictures that we have there are actually from Super Summer Camp. Tara Etheridge is a counselor for summer camp, and she was doing games with our students. And then the bottom you see a restorative circle taking place outside with our students. So this is just a great component of what we're going to be doing in the after school program, but you'll get to see it next week at Super Summer Camp. You know, I'm not going to stop saying super. So our next section is active engaged learning. That's section 2. So how will we keep our students excited and wanting to be there? So one of the program requirements is that all the opportunities we provide in the day need to be, or sorry, let me say that backwards. Our after school programs need to complement our daytime activities. So in the school day, as you see in the chart, we offer luminary arts drama classes. We have our innovation lab where they teach coding sometimes. We have our luminary arts classes with music. We have PE 200 minutes a week. Of course, I know all the guidelines to that. And our after school program, in order to build off of that, our luminary arts instructors will be offering choir and theater production. As a matter of fact, the chair of the luminary arts, Mr. Bruce, is actually friends with our cast theater owners here in Fallbrook. So we're hoping to have some schools doing luminary arts through cast and some schools doing after school with Mr. Bruce Blackwell, and that's the luminary arts company. Our innovation lab students will have the opportunity to do robotics after school. So Makey was one of the activities we did for summer school. We'll also be offering band classes through a partnership with Kids College. So we're bringing back some of our old partnerships. And then lastly, physical education will continue. And what we are hoping to do is incorporate the LAVO, which is the curriculum that we're using right now for summer school, because it mixes PE with social emotional learning. So every week there's a new theme of self-resilience or, empowerment. And what we're seeing and what we've seen, which is very amazing, is our Potter average of attendance has been amazing for some Super Summer Camp. We have 4 to 5 students absent a day out of 100 students.
Wow.
So that just shows you that it's working. And that's a picture on the bottom of the LAVO students. They were supposed to send us 3 coaches and we got 6 coaches. So our students want to be here and they don't want to miss out. So that's great. All right, our next section, skill building, which is always again a focus of anything we do in FUESD, is literacy skills. So just like our intervention model and enrichment model, we need to make sure that we're complementing what's done in the school day. Kiddos have already been in school 7 hours. We don't want to give them more reading groups, more math groups. That's not exciting. But if they know they're going to go to writer's workshop or reader's workshop, we're going to have homework support, and that's part of the ACEs component or after school component. And I'll explain a little bit more, but we really want to just highlight that our students will get reading, writing, speaking, listening, and math skills, but in a fun way. Project-based learning, STEAM, art, lots of activities. So students will want to come. And again, we want them to be excited. The whole program's basis is student choice. So we want to be able to give our students lots of choice. And sometimes we'll guide that choice. The last piece that I want to highlight is we're very fortunate that we use the program Thrively, which you're all aware. Just a quick little reminder, it really helps us explore student strengths through the assessment platform. So we're hoping to use some of that data too to help us develop classes for after school. All right, section 4, youth voice and leadership. Student input again is critical to the design of this program. So I just gave a couple options of what we believe our enrichment cycle and after school program will look like. Option 1 would be students who choose to just go to enrichment class. So they don't need the intervention, perhaps. They don't need the power hour. These are your kiddos who maybe have sports programs that they already belong to. So they just want to stay, let's say, for a STEM class, 1 hour. They check in with our clerk, do their STEM enrichment, and then they get to go home. So that would be our option 1. We don't think many students will choose that option. Option 2 is like our wraparound intervention enrichment after school care. And in this option, students will be there a good 3 hours. So we want to make sure they have their power hour, which is homework tutorial. They have their snack break, they have PE, and then they've got passing periods and time to explore intervention enrichment. So the awesome thing about this is we're hoping to recruit our FUSD teachers to be teaching these classes alongside with some of the vendors. So our students will be even more excited to stay when they know Mr. Floto is teaching the robotics class. All
If I
right.
could just
Yes.
share here, you'll see that the students will sign in and have an opportunity to go to the after school program, the aftercare, and then they fluidly move into their enrichment class and back to what they select. So it truly is a choice system. So, and how that all works, the kids will find that flow and then check in and then back to the Boys and Girls Club. So that's the hub, is the Boys and Girls Club after school care.
Yeah, that's a key to our program. There are after school providers, and then we're bringing in everything else to support the program. All right, next section, healthy choices and behaviors. Poor Miss Hazley, we've been talking a lot. Actually, we're very excited. I found out through little birdie that she used to run a cooking cart and classes in Vista. So when we went to meet, we quickly made some plans to try to reenact that. So one of the goals of working with Ms. Hazley is that we will be developing healthy choices for our students, meals for the camps and for the after school program. But on top of that, we're hoping to get some of her classified staff and her to help us run cooking classes where students will learn some culinary skills and nutritional awareness. So we've got big plans. She volunteered to be on my ELO action team because she wants to be such a part of building this model. So we're really excited. And then as far as physical fitness, I shared that we will be using the Levo curriculum and also hoping to offer a variety of sports camps. I know Mr. Pinnell, who coaches rugby, would like to do some basic, not the hard, but some basic skills after school. I've got Mr. Catalampio, who's a soccer coach, and he'd love to do a soccer camp. So there's lots of teachers in our district who want to work these camps and sessions. So we're excited. All right, and our next section is diversity, access, and equity. Obviously, we want to expose our students to different cultures, different heritages from their own. We plan on having field trips to museums, science centers, college campuses. We really want to broaden and enrich their lives and their experiences. Many of our students don't have the opportunity to do that. We also plan on celebrating days of diversity, Kindness Day, World Down Syndrome Day. And then lastly, staffing component for this program will be really important because we want to make sure we're meeting the needs of our second language learners and our students with special needs. So I'll be working closely with our directors to staff appropriately.
I'm gonna hop back one more
Sure.
slide. And this is just an just an example of a snack menu, because when they're after school, they'll get a large snack. So it'll be cold. It won't have to be heated, but it'll be a substantial opportunity, and it needs to be diverse because the kids need to be interested in it. And then they'll have a really substantial after school snack to eat and keep them energized for the sports and learning that they'll be doing.
I did have a question on the snack. How much is this burden our existing staff? I mean, how do you make that work?
Well, you want to?
I can speak to that. So currently our Boys and Girls Club staff already provides a snack, so this isn't really changing. Might be increasing the number, but I don't think this part will be a burden. According to Ms. Hazley, she said the part that she wants to plan with are the camps, because that's a new component. But she also has staff working during those days, so it should work out fine.
So it might increase the amount.
The amount,
But not the
exactly.
exact process,
Mhm.
and maybe some of the diversity of the snacks to include
Yeah.
student choice. Probably positively impact the whole nutrition program.
All right, in section 7, we discuss quality staff. So as all programs in Fallbrook, they're built with quality staff. So I want you to note that at the top, I do write that our plan is student-centered, because it is student-centered. It's all about our students, what we can provide for them. And thanks to you, the board and cabinet members, were able to provide an amazing program. Things that I got to do 25 years ago as a child. So we're bringing it all back. And when I saw Mary today, it was a perfect example of our community members are invested. They want to see our students in the clubs, in the sports programs, things that they may not be able to do on their own. So I'm super excited to be able to be the avenue for that, but I'm just one person and it takes a team. So on my team, you'll see me working closely with Mr. Rodriguez, our Boys and Girls Club CEO, Allison Barkley. She's been amazing. Our ACES staff, FUESD directors. I was just bragging to Dr. Singh how all the directors have stepped in to help with summer camp, from child nutrition services to transportation to facilities. Everybody's been amazing. I don't even have to ask for help. They all volunteer to help. So we're also invested. We want to see this be a successful program, and we'll have after school site leads, Boys and Girls Club staff. And then another key to this will be our counselor and social worker, which I mentioned, but our bilingual community support liaisons who we're extending. So today we had an amazing training. Dr. Curcio and I trained our bilingual community support liaisons. We did a morning on LPAC, and then we did the afternoon on ELO. And those poor ladies, they had 7 hours with lunch. But it was really amazing to see again how invested these bilingual community support liaisons, many of them are parents in our community, are with this program, and they were so happy and eager to serve the families.
I'll just jump in there. It really does take a commitment from every level, including this level, to invest in a quality program. And I'm very thankful for a director position and the appropriate support staff to be at all schools at all times, so that each school has an opportunity to have such a great program and engagement opportunity for the student. But that's what this is all about, right? It's treating your staff like they are valued and making sure that the right pieces are in the right place for the student.
I just have one quick question. I know this is legislated and that there is some talk about it can't be used during the regular school hours. Does that include before school and lunch?
So I would have to check about lunch. I don't believe that the funding can be used during lunch, but before school perhaps. And this plan is focusing on after school hours. Again, this is the original plan and it could be in development. And if it became a different need, we would address that.
That's a great question. Section 8 is on our clear vision and mission, and we've discussed that a bit at the beginning, but really our purpose is to serve our students and families. I want to ensure that our students are being heard. I was able to look at all the fabulous feedback from the LCAP parent forums, from the school site council meetings, from ELAC meetings, and that's how I came up with the initial group of what we want to offer students. Every parent and every school site wanted band, music,
Yes.
and STEM and
right.
sports. There you go. Those were the top 4. So I'm going to ensure that this is aligned to our LCAP priorities. It was very easy to write the plan because of all the structures we already have in place. Another thing I shared with Dr. Singh is while I attend the county meetings, I always feel so proud because a lot of districts haven't even started planning or don't have the foundation of a Boys and Girls Club ACEs program, and we have that, so we just get to build and expand on that. So part of what my quality or my ELO action team will do is review the plan with me and make sure that we're following what's called the quality performance measures. So we're ensuring that we're following the plan's goals. We're getting continuous feedback, which we'll also be getting from the board. And just to mention who's on that committee right now, we have some directors, principals, teachers, parents, and classified staff. So it's a very nice rounded group of citizens. And then the next section are collaborative partnerships. This, I think, is one of my favorite sections because of all the existing partnerships we have established over the years. And I'm really excited to be working closely with the Boys and Girls Club. And I know we've mentioned this, but they really are the key to this program because they are the after-school care providers, and they'll be running our intercession camps as well. So just hearing Allison say, tell me what you need and we'll hire more people and we'll expand. And so we've been building goals together. And I'm just really happy to see how invested they are in us as we are in them. And the other neat thing of working with the Boys and Girls Club was just meeting parents. We did a little registration fair a couple of weeks ago and had so many families come. Julie Norby was still here and she says, you have a little team out there. I said, they want to be part of this. So we were registering families and helping them, and they were just so grateful and so happy. But we also have some amazing existing partnerships like CAST that we had, Fallbrook Art Society. We've got the Band Society. So we'll be reaching out and working with all of them. I just need a little more time in my day. I'm getting there. And I'm ready for the next section is continues again to, I feel like I'm talking a lot about the plan, but there is a lot of emphasis on making sure that this is a living plan, that we're constantly looking at our data, making sure that we're seeing growth, that our students are happy. We're surveying our students and families, and then we're planning if we need to tweak or change, and then we're making improvements. So it's a circular model. And again, I'll be taking data from all our family LCAP forums, parent forums, and I plan on attending ELACs and DLACs and school site councils as well.
You have to clone yourself.
It's gonna be
That's
fun.
right.
I'm an empty nester, so I can do it.
That's right.
And then last section of the plan again is program management. The state really wants to make sure we've got the nuts and bolts of the plan. So in this again plan, you're going to see these 4 phases where we are right now soliciting your approval of the plan, and then we're going to continue seeking out program interests of our students, what our teachers want to teach. I'm ready to send out a survey to all our staff to see what they're interested in teaching. And then we're going to continue identifying those partnerships and forming those solid relationships. And then lastly, we will have a comprehensive ELO budget. Thanks to Mrs. Martin. She will be helping with that and guiding me. And then we'll provide the board with a budget guideline as well. Oh, sneak peek, my favorite part. Okay, so I am busily planning to try to get my 30 days in. We've accomplished 19 days with the Super Summer Camp. How could I forget the name? It's Super Summer Camp. And we have 11 more days to complete the 30 non-school days that we have to fulfill in the plan. And so just so you remember, we have to have 9-hour days offered. So we want to structure them similar to Super Summer Camp, where the morning is instruction and activities, and then the afternoon is a little more open time where they can do PE and games and activities. But my big plan is to end every camp with a field trip, because I think that will really attract our students. So right now we are working with Kids College to provide a standards-based thematic sea life curriculum for the first fall camp. And then we hope to end with a Legoland field trip to the Sea Life Aquarium. The second camp will be more STEM based, and then we'll end with Legoland Park STEM activities. And then the last camp, our spring camp, we're looking at doing a Cal State San Marcos field trip. And we've been invited to go to their amazing new STEM labs and actually tour the campus and make and take some things with us. So very excited about that, because not only will we be showing our students possible choices for universities, but also they'll get to see some of our STEM ambassadors are Fallbrook grads. So they'll get to see some of their community members who are now, college students. So super excited about that.
So these additional 30 days are a big hurdle for many districts. And you can see that it was easily intertwined with what is already the good things happening in Fallbrook, but really deepening the experience and increasing what our students will get out of this opportunity. So yes, every student really does look forward to the opportunity to go on a field trip and then matching it with their experiences in the classroom to the experiences in our community is pretty beautiful. So 30 additional days to the 180-day school calendar with staff, with activities, with engagement. So again, thank you for the investment because we will see the rewards with our students.
Some districts are just not opting into this program because they couldn't put the project together in time.
So this is the ramp up year and the expectation is to get started. And what I'm able to share is that this is a very well-developed plan in Fallbrook as opposed to what other districts are just starting to get going. So because there was an early adoption of putting in a director and getting the things moving, it's really well done. I'm popping in at the last minute to say, look how great it is. You have to
We are too.
sometimes at least state the obvious. It's a nice opportunity to share what's going on.
Well, we don't see what's going on in the outside world. so we'd
Yeah.
love to see. that we're
Outside.
doing
I,
Definitely a leader in the area.
Very
And we
much
know that
so.
when we're speaking
Yeah.
in groups in the county, but outside of the county as well, in our other connections.
so as a principal, I'd never attended county-wide meetings. So the first one, I thought, okay, we're in a good place. Second one, I was like, we're definitely in a good place. By the third meeting, I came to Dr. Singh and I said, wow, we've really got it going on. I said, there's a lot of districts that are still, and we're just fortunate because of the partnership that Mr. Rodriguez established with our ACES grant. We have that component of the childcare. And now we're gonna build on top of that, so.
But also
So
some bold steps. There weren't after-school programs in 2 schools.
That's true.
And as if it were that easy, that it will happen in the fall. So.
really beautiful.
Make sure.
And now we have an opportunity to ask any questions or is there something that we can help you understand better? And you have in front of you, obviously, the invitation to Soup Fetch Summer Camp. Really look forward to, Ms. President, I will be walking you through the campuses and that we have fun activities planned, just like we did with our migrant school and or our migrant opportunity. The kids have lots of great things to share with you and we'll be seeing the contribution from our classified staff and our certificated staff and also administrators who are really proud to share what's been going on.
Is it your thought that we'll go in the order of these schools
Yeah.
or, okay.
That's the abbreviated agenda. We
Yeah.
have a deeper agenda for you on that day.
I'm just looking at the times, like, okay, I'm gonna be there and then gonna get to there and then we're
Right.
gonna get to there. It's like, okay. All right.
They've got helicopters.
Yeah, really.
I'm always curious on how you're gonna pull out band, because there's a kind of a upfront cost of instruments. I'm not sure that this program supports.
We definitely can support that, but I also know San Onofre has band equipment we sent to Potter because we didn't have a band program, so we know there's equipment out
Equipment.
there that we can use, and I'm still going to seek out donations and scholarships even with our program, because a lot of people in our community want to see band and our parents want it, so I'd love for students to be able to own instruments. A lot of big ones.
It's a great question, Mrs. Lieber, too. Remember, and Mrs. Martin's gonna be, when would you anticipate us be able to talk about the budget we have?
For this program,
Uh-huh.
I would say the next board meeting, I know that's pretty packed because it's the first day of
Yeah.
school. But definitely by the next board meeting, part of it was, Ms. Perez and Dr. Houston finishing the plan. We do have a budget in place, but I will tell you, the budget was the director, the secretary, the things we knew, and then a big pot of money, because quite
That's right.
honestly, we didn't know what it was gonna be. And, the good news is it's more than we
It's more
budgeted
than
for.
we even thought.
So as ongoing funds.
Yes.
And so to really be able to use that with our other funding sources, remember, maximize our resources. But if we're, don't
Great.
have too big of
And
an
maybe
agenda.
next meeting or two.
Mhm.
I say that because there's a significant amount of money that the state is investing into this program. So we could get to the point where if our band program that we need to purchase instruments for this program, there is likely the money to do that, right? So yes, so those types of things won't be an issue. Yeah, isn't it? Yeah. Fantastic.
I would echo that. I think it's so important for our kids to be able to pursue their interests and not worry my mom, dad can't afford to pay for a musical instrument. And I hope that's also going to be true for the sports camps.
Sure.
You know, I've heard from a couple of parents, oh, I wish my son could be in soccer, but we can't afford the
Cleats
fees."
and the
Yeah, right.
fees.
And yeah,
Mhm.
and you know,
Mhm.
we do have a lot of money through this program and it's just so blessed. And this is a good time to invest in those sorts of things, you know.
Well, and I'll just add, it is a significant amount of money. We are fortunate that we already had so many things in place that other districts are just coming, around to doing. Having said that, this could be life-changing for some of these families and kids. And the funding, while we are required to meet the program pieces, must offer, X number of days, hours per day. But how we can spend this money is pretty flexible. So things like buying instruments, I mean, it's something that really, anything's out there as long as as it is in support of this program. So it's not necessarily that every dollar has to be spent on every matching that. It's that we meet the requirements of, as they've outlined in the plan, and then whatever we feel it needs to be able to support that. And also then we're going to, combine our resources to really make it the best program as possible. But I think exactly what you've said, this could be life-changing for some of our families and some of our kids that won't have that opportunity otherwise.
I'd like to throw out one thought. It's not for this version, it's for a little bit later. Coming from the business world, at the top levels of the business world, a lot of business is done on the golf course. And kids who come from socially, economically challenged families don't learn how to play golf. And it's a small
expensive
thing,
sport.
but it's an expensive sport. It's a small thing, but in the business world, it's actually a big thing. When women weren't playing golf, women weren't part of those informal business deals. And I just think it's an investment in our kids' future if we, at some point in time, are able to teach some of our kids how to play golf.
It's a wonderful
You
idea.
know,
Mhm. It's a
just-
wonderful
a
idea.
ticket.
And it's a beautiful sport. It's a beautiful sport.
It is, and and tennis too is another.
And tennis is another one.
Another way mentioned that is right there next to La Paloma are two tennis courts.
Mhm.
And it's true, there are partnerships that we do, because we have tennis club in town, we have lots of tennis
Auburn
players.
High School has
Right.
Mr. Lenaway who teaches tennis, and a lot of
Right.
those gals get scholarships and.
Yeah,
That's right.
I mean, this does give you entree into college.
Mhm.
Playing an instrument gives you an entree, you have it in grades. Playing
Sports,
Gives you an entrance of.
drama.
I really like that. Yeah, I
Mhm.
really like that golf idea, drama. So we're giving opportunities where they might.
Wonderful. It's a great suggestion. It's a great suggestion.
I think an important piece is going to be the marketing to the
Yeah.
kids of what the opportunities are and having maybe like. And the flyers to inform the parents are great, but having a club fair on campus, something where kids can actually try out the thing, because I know with my kids, like something new, if it's not already in their heads. And I suggest it, they're like,
Oh,
no.
yeah.
no.
Mom.
So they need that opportunity to actually try doing it themselves, and maybe then they'll want to do something they've never heard of
point.
before, like golf.
Hey, so true. You wouldn't even know. Some kids would say,
Yeah.
oh, golf would never,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great point.
I would say too, leaning into that, investing in with our own people and investing in this program. Even preparing for tonight, I leaned into our digital specialists and Seth and sharpened up our presentation so that it is presentable to the public and it is perfect, right? So we are doing the same thing with a little bit of recruiting for our students, and with the community liaisons having the bilingual recruiting. So you're right, spot on with what we're thinking about. How do we reach kids? We want the kids to be asking for these opportunities.
I've already requested for the bilingual liaisons to work the back to school nights, set up a little table, let parents know who we are, what we're doing. Seth's working with me to order some banners that just welcome our families to stop by in both languages. And then another goal also would be just to, continue fostering. We told our bilingual liaisons, the most important thing you can do is build relationships. This is all about our students and their families. So.
That's right.
just we're excited. A lot of them are community members.
Yeah, I love the back to school night idea, because you could have posters with pictures of some of the, things that are gonna be offered. And that'll draw people over to the table, and that's a great idea. So
And
we get
Mrs.
the
Leva's-
parents and the kids.
Sorry, Mrs. Lee was a club idea of recruiting and showing clubs. That is part of the Leader in Me teaching. So we usually do that in schools, and that'll be just another thing that we'll continue to do.
I also like how you balance the luminary arts work in the classroom during the school day with what you're doing after school. It's a really nice blend. So I just want to say, I mean, what you've done in such a short period of time, you and your team, it's just extraordinary. Really. is
I have
extraordinary.
one formatting question. Kind of silly, but throughout the reports, you talk about different positions, different people, different, who will be doing what. But in one place, you actually name Amy.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just curious why we picked her as
Yeah.
opposed to just saying the director of
I'm not sure, but.
nutrition.
Probably just out of habit.
I'm so
It's
excited,
great. Yeah, because it probably just like popped out.
Yeah, so it just
You
popped
better
out in
to
my
just
head.
put
Yep,
the-
so-
yeah,
Just the
position.
title. That's a
Thank you.
great catch.
Do we,
Great catch.
do we know how long, I mean, we never really know, but has the state indicated how long this funding will? go on?
Ongoing. At
Ongoing.
this point, ongoing.
It's a priority for them.
Right.
It'd be a shame to ramp this up and then have.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
A lot of ramp up.
It's a lot.
I hope it's ongoing.
And it's not just, this is a great piece, but it's also a way to address the childcare, daycare concerns that so many saw during COVID. So that's, it truly is providing the care and then also being able to offer these wonderful programs. And with the state's surplus and surplus of
Yes.
surplus of money, they do have it set aside, not just for this year, but future years, but it's actually built in, so it's part of Prop 98. So it would take an act of-
Legislation.
to be able to undo that. Of course, funding is always at risk anytime, any place, but at the same time, we were all worried about what would happen with COVID, and we had more money given to school districts than ever. So I'm optimistic and have full confidence that this program will go on. Perhaps other things could be cut at the state level, but this is such a huge investment that it's not just school districts. Because if you think about it, it also is beneficial for the partnerships.
The economy.
Exactly,
Mhm.
because they're employing, the Boys and Girls Club is employing more people. It just helps. It's a win-win-win for everybody. So it wouldn't just be a school district that would be impacted negatively if it went away. It really helps.
Yep.
It's the domino effect.
Great, great point.
Dr. Singh, I hope when we get this rolling, when we have programs, I hope you take the opportunity to figure out how you can shine the light on this program
For sure.
statewide
You bet.
and show them what your district is doing.
For
You
sure.
know, I can see articles.
I can see
Yeah.
Mrs. Perez being asked to go and speak to people and things. Mhm. It happens a lot when you are out in front on things like this. Yeah, so thank you for that. You bet. You bet. Thank you, ladies.
Very much.
Thank you, ladies,
Great
so
job.
much. Fantastic.
Okay, back to our meeting. So I believe we need to approve this plan.
Yes.
May I ask for a motion to approve the expanded learning opportunity plan?
So moved.
Lopez, do I have a second? Thank you. Let's go straight to vote. Mrs. Lopez,
Aye.
Mrs. Lieber,
Aye.
Mrs. Libis, aye, and I vote aye as well. Thank you. Let's move to community health systems, another action item. Do I have a motion to approve? I'll make a motion. Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments, discussion?
It's an amazing opportunity.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Exciting.
Typically, as you know, we'll have MOUs and contracts, included in the consent agenda, and that's typically a place, but we decided we really wanted to have this out separate because we wanted the opportunity to provide you in your Friday update, the summary of what we're going to be doing with community health systems. And so you had the chance to read about the work that's been going on behind the scenes with our social worker, Jessica Miner, and Mr. Rodriguez, and now our teams, now we have facilities involved, and we have Dr. Husing involved, and obviously Mrs. Martin involved. So this is, we really think, just the beginning of what we will continue to see as deeper and broader, connection and collaboration with our healthcare partners in the community. So we're really excited about it.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Really nice to have a classroom space.
Yes.
And I love
Yes.
that you have it at Potter. I think
Yes.
it's a perfect place, perfect time to reach families.
So true.
Mhm.
So,
Parking lot around the back.
and the
too.
parking lot, that's right, in a
Yes.
parking lot around the back, that's right.
The access, yeah.
Mhm. So we're making some minor facilities adjustments to make it easier for the team to be there and for people to access it. It's our current students and their families. So it's another new thing that we're doing. So we'll provide an update to you as we go along, and maybe a brief presentation just to let you know how it's going after things get up and running, but we're really, really excited about it. So thank you. You bet.
Okay, let's go to a vote. Mrs. Lopez,
Aye.
Mrs. Lieber,
Aye.
Mrs. Libis.
Aye.
I vote aye as well. Next item is an information only item, as is the following one. So conference and workshop attendance and the Williams complaint fourth quarterly report, which moves us to our final action item, and that is our consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve? I move to approve. Thank you. Do I have a second? A second. Okay, discussion, comments, questions?
Our newest digital specialist who's on consent.
I'm glad you found a good program to manage all the enrichment activities.
Oh,
That's gonna
yes.
be
That's right.
A whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
6 crickets.
No questions?
I wasn't, North County Lifeline, they're doing this for free.
I think, is North County Lifeline? I don't recall that right off the top of my head.
It just seems like it's a commitment of subs for us. Because I think it looks like it was
Oh,
being,
yeah.
is that correct? The MOU, there's 2 of them, and I didn't see any dollar amount.
Mhm. You know what? I don't know the answer to the question,
No
but
problem.
I can, don't worry, but I will follow up in an email out to you to let you know specifics about that.
Because I know that Mrs. Levis did mention out of classroom time.
Leonard's just
It's
texted.
free.
It's
I can
free.
read your lips.
Yeah.
It meets our budget.
It meets our budget. It is free.
I think the cost is how much time a teacher would have to be outside the class. I mean, the training is necessary and important, I understand, and everybody needs it. But I think it's just one other item that takes this teacher out of.
On the list, yeah.
Yeah, we have to
The
just be,
suicide bully prevention, awareness is obviously one of the critical
yes.
elements of training for our staff. So
Is it something that could be done on, after school or a weekend or
I'm
something
not
like
sure.
that?
I'm not sure.
Check it
Like
out.
we tried to do with
Yeah.
some other things.
Yeah. We definitely can, take a look at that for sure.
Keep it as minimal as possible.
Yep.
Any other questions? Okay, Mrs. Lieber? Your vote?
I,
Mrs. Lopez?
Aye.
Mrs. Libis? Aye. And I vote aye as well.
So I'd like to introduce, if I could,
Yes.
now that he is official, Raul Ragosa, welcome. Raul is joining our team, as you know, as our new, and it was in routine personnel, as our new digital media specialist. And Raul, they had the opportunity to have a little bio about you this last week and know a little bit about you, but we're welcome to the team. We're so pleased. You're going to help. You got to hear this beautiful program that you get to work with Mr. Trench, and that's right. That's right. And has lots of beautiful experience. So welcome. We're really pleased you're here. You're welcome.
and I think that you're probably getting in trouble now at your alma mater where you used to teach, because
You're really great. Come work for us.
I see kind of a
But do you see
repetitive-
some things
that.
happening, Mrs. Lieber? Wonderful.
It is. Anything else in discussion, future items for consideration?
I have one thought, and that is I read that legislation has been passed for busing funding come through. And I just, maybe if it could be short, because I know we
You
have
bet.
a lot to cover, but it would be interesting to see, because now we can move that money back into the general fund, I'm guessing, that we have set aside for busing this year.
So, yes, and just briefly, I think I mentioned in the budget presentation, transportation funding had been stagnant, had not changed since 2013. Although costs, look at the gas, even diesel fuel has gone up significantly. And so what this is doing is applying either the dollar amount that school districts were getting plus the COLA, or 60% of your expenses, whichever is the greater. And we talked about the state's recognition and the prioritization of transportation. Again, this is another area where we're ahead of the game, because there are many districts that don't provide it or who are charging for it. That's another thing that will have to go away in other districts. We're already doing it, but looking forward to the requirements that may be coming in the next couple of years, we're really going to have to review our transportation department, the structure, the pay for our bus drivers. I mean, that's really because it's a nationwide problem, the shortage of bus drivers. But it's good news. It's more money than we again budgeted, and it definitely will help. We will probably be in that wanting to pursue the 60% because our transportation costs are significant. But there will be another piece of that is that there will be an entire plan, like the LCAP. That's on transportation.
Plan.
Another, right, that must be board approved, and so again, another plan, but I definitely can provide some more information.
We don't need it if we're getting a plan.
You're gonna get all kinds of information about transportation.
It's just that it was such good news.
It is good
Absolutely.
news.
And Mrs. Levis and I attended legislative advocacy days, and this was one of 3 topics that we advocated for. And it looked like
And successfully.
Successfully.
Many other places are doing some very serious hand wringing on this topic, though.
Very serious.
Worry.
Oh, okay.
Because if you have no structure for this, this is
bad
a
for them.
heavy lift. It's a heavy lift. So as far as what we currently have for transportation might be this, and what we pay is this. So whether or not the new funding is likely not going to replace what we're already, right, what we already get. So it'll definitely help. It's like about 1.3 million that we spend on transportation, and we get like 600,000 or 400,000. I mean, I'm round ballparking here, right? So we'll be able to bring you, we're going to have a plan and all kinds of information, but we spent about a half hour this morning literally talking about this very thing. So we will definitely bring back things related to transportation to you as we learn and know more. The thing I would say, though, that is very common for our district is that, as you know, we work to be very proactive. We look out and see what's coming, and we develop a plan very early. We're doing that now in our transportation department and looking carefully at our staffing, the way that we've struggled with hiring bus drivers, as you know. So we have to look, everyone's going to be looking for bus drivers.
Yeah.
So it's already a national crisis, not having enough bus drivers. So we, as we do with all things, will be very proactive with this. And so
Teach busing. I mean, that's a curriculum. Do we teach it internally, or do they have to go to a busing
it's a
school?
great question. This is literally what we were talking about this morning. Do you want to talk about that?
We are so fortunate to have in our director, Mr. Robert Trotter, be a state certified instructor. So that is not typical in a school district, maybe a large school district, but he is able to provide the classes that are necessary here, and we do it free of charge. And as far as our renewals as well. So that's something that is a huge benefit to have. And we're so fortunate to have him and him to be state certified. It also means that he brings with him not just that experience, but his expectation for the safety and the things that we do is above you know, the minimum of what could commonly be without this skill. It is something that is, transportation is not only governed by obviously the school districts and the, you know, Department of Transportation. There's other agencies that all look, once you put a vehicle on a road with students, it's a whole nother ballgame. And he's up to speed on all of those laws and rules, so we're very fortunate. But yes, they do receive their training here, and it's something, a marketing thing that we're really going to have to take a look at, you know, really promoting and having some kind of recruitment campaign, or, you know, really, because if not, if a person were to do this on their own, it would cost them between $6,000 to $8,000 to become. So if you're not already that, and you're trying to work, kind of like we talked the intern teachers, that's a lot of money to come out of pocket to, you know, that do up front. So if we can provide that, which we do currently, but really structure it in a way that we could recruit more, maybe some of our subs or classified staff that are interested in full-time benefited jobs, it would be great.
To what extent, if at all, are there electric school buses these days? Is that something that's being?
Obviously,
Is it?
you know,
something's even worth considering at this
I think it's always worth considering. Truly, it's always worth considering. Fallbrook is unique in just the true of what it takes and the distance that some of the electric vehicles or buses could go. But that doesn't mean we couldn't make improvements. The 5 buses that we purchased that you all approved last, those save such a significant amount of money. Oh, yes, in the fuel costs and in the maintenance on the tires and things. Unbelievable how much more efficient they are than, you know, a bus from 20 years ago. But it's something that I think is worth looking into. I wouldn't think that we would be in the position to, you know, but there's a lot of money being put into.
We'll see.
Exactly. So I wouldn't
We'll see.
say no to any of it.
Last thing I would mention on this topic, because we won't need a presentation by the time we're done with it. Is as Mrs. Martin was just saying, that Mr. Trotter is a certified bus trainer. We currently in our district, though, a number of years ago, we had a dedicated position that was the bus trainer and the director. That where we're going in the need to ramp up transportation, you can anticipate that we're looking carefully at needing to add that position back, because what Mr. Trotter is responsible for right now, we're short drivers on days where he has to drive the bus, and then he's running the department and he's training all the people. And so it's not realistic. So as we're seeing more money come in and being very proactive, because if everyone's adding a driver trainer, if everyone's adding bus drivers and creating transportation departments, we want to be out in front of that. Right. And get the right people in the right place so that we're teed up and ready to do that. So that's what we're working on literally behind the scenes right now. Yeah.
When we train someone to be a driver, is there any contractual obligation?
Commitment to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
We're discussing that.
We're discussing that right now. Same with our interns, that, you know, you make a 2-year, we invest in you, we want to make a 2 to 3 year commitment that you have to stay with us. For our interns, we do.
That's a real issue with law enforcement. I know with the LAPD spends a huge amount training its officers. And a lot of them will go through the training, they'll stay on a couple of years, and then they'll bump off to another city that pays them more.
You know, it was just a gift that Mr. Trotter has this ability to do that. And it also allows for our renewals for our bus drivers, for him to provide that training. He does a really good job of, while he's providing the classes, like, hey, and we're a great place to work as well. We currently don't have where you have to sign to agree, because he's also thinks, which I do appreciate, he thinks globally. He thinks if he's teaching a class and somebody comes from, you know, Bonsall, Vista, whatever, and needs that renewal or is interested, he's already teaching the class. If he has a spot available, he's going to do that. And he wants to make sure that there's safe drivers transporting, no matter what district they're in. So, you know, there's a part that we've had that discussion of having a commitment. So, you know, we don't just train everybody to go someplace else. And that usually doesn't happen.
Too much.
You know, there might be a few here or there, but usually they become so comfortable, because he also does the behind the wheel training with them too. So they become familiar with our vehicles and our staff and our people.
But our training that's virtually free training.
Oh, it is.
and putting 2 more bodies doesn't cost, but the Laverne training
Yes,
is full on cost.
No, totally, exactly,
A different.
exactly.
very true. Yeah, because we're paying for it. Yeah, that's right. That's right. But more to come on transportation.
One last point on transportation. I had a lovely talk with Mr. Trotter at, I think it was at the Merrick Bay ribbon cutting, and he invited us to come see the
Yes.
bus barn, and I would love it if last year was too crazy, but if we could arrange a board
can.
visit.
Yeah,
so-
great idea.
And he even
Yeah.
offered to take us for a ride.
We're up.
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah.
Sounds
Yes.
great.
And
We will arrange for a visit.
speaking of the visits, I would like to go see the new changes you made to the childcare centers.
Oh, of course,
Oh,
to go
yeah.
see the new, absolutely. We'll
Oh,
make
I
sure
love
that's on the
that.
list too.
Yeah.
We can have Mr. Trotter drive a bus.
To our preschool, to the Mike Choate Center. That's right.
I've never been to the.
Oh, well, that'll be on our list too.
With that, I adjourn our meeting at 7:13.
Thank you,
Thank you
everybody.
very much.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
everyone.
everyone.